Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel here in Monmouth County, New Jersey, Freehold Township at Turkey Swamp Park. This is a county park. This is a campground with very basic sites. It has electric and some water. I stayed here last night because I wanted to be close by because I'm filming another van tour series. There's a VANLIFE series. I'm going to be filming a tour of someone else's van. But before I head over there, I wanted to give you an updated tour of my van just to show you how I'm using it. So join me. The van is a 1997 Ford Econoline Extended 350. That's their 1-ton chassis. And it has the Ford V10 engine in it. Airstream was the manufacturer that did the conversion. They converted into a camper van. So they bought a regular low-top van, cut a hole in the roof, and put the big top on. And that top allows you to stand up inside. And they also modified and added cabinets, which we're going to see when we do the inside tour shortly. I'd taken that 97 van, which was a little dated and a little worn out, and updated. I added 4-wheel drive to it. And I had that done at UJoint Off-Road in Fletcher, North Carolina. You want to check them out on the web. They do great work, reasonable prices, and totally legit company. And then I also updated the rims and tires. I have 35-inch on there, and I added an aluminous rear bumper with the swing arm, 1-up bike racks for 2 bikes, and a spare tire swing arm. And then I added reverse lights in the bumper. The top of the van, the fiberglass portion of the van, was an off-white, so I had that wrapped with vinyl wrap just to dress it up instead of adding paint to it. I added a luminous side ladder so I could get up on the roof, and that will allow me to access and clean off the solar panels. I added rhino lining to the bottom rockers. There was stickers there. Airstream had some swirly stripes and stickers down the side. I had them removed, but on the bottom I added rhino lining. This has a city water connection, which will supply water to all the faucets and toilet on demand. Has a water pressure regulator built into it that will protect you from high water pressures. This is the 30 amp 125 volt power connection, and that is what you would use to plug in to a campgrounds connection. 30 amps on the left there. I have a 25-foot detachable Marineco power cord. I didn't need electricity last night. I have enough battery capacity. I have one Group 24 series AGM Lifeline battery, which gives me 80 amp hours, and I have 230 watts of solar on the roof. This would have been the original refrigerator ventilation because this had an absorption style refrigerator in it. I do have a video where I swapped that out with a compressor style. So you can see that's the compressor style refrigerator. And that runs off of 12 volt DC and 125 volt AC when you're plugged in. I have a side storage compartment here. Get that open. And then I have in here stored my tracks. And they just perfectly fit in here. And they can be a little finicky to get out. And then I have leveling blocks in here, and I have my ARB air compressor on board. So if I needed to deflate the tires down to drive on sand, I could inflate them back up. But I also use that air compressor for air tools on board if I needed them. Locking fuel cap. This is a gas engine, gasoline engine. This is the Onan 2800 Microlight series. This runs on gasoline, and this will power the air conditioning and electrical outlets on board. If I'm not plugged into electricity, I would need to run that generator to run the air conditioning or electrical outlets. locking hubs, Fox 2.0 shocks, front differential. This has the 410 gears. And UJoint Off-Road, they do really nice work. Yeah, I had this done quite a while ago, but you can see this van really has no rust. It's very clean. It was from Arizona. UJoint Off-Road also made a beautiful front bumper. I added the Ridgid industry lights. So I have 2 spotlights and I have amber lights, driving lights. Vantage Optics. I purchased their side marker light and headlights. What a major upgrade that was. Old headlights are very dim and very dull, and this really gave me the brightness I need to drive at night. The van is just under 11 foot tall, so I got to remember that when I'm going under bridges. I had it prepped for a worn winch. It's all prepped when I decide to add it. I have a front receiver, so if I wanted to add a little motorcycle or scooter to the front or a rack, I have ability to slide items in there. Also, I have the ARB onboard compressor, the prep here for the air hose, and then the worn winch prep here. Now, what a major improvement it was when UJoint did the 4-wheel drive upgrade. It really changed the ride handling, not just because it was 4-wheel drive. These vans were very overweight to begin with. And once Airstream was done with their conversion, there was very little payload left. So they would sag in the back and they would be very bouncy and very uncomfortable to drive. So UJoint Off-Road did a major upgrade to the suspension as part of their package, which really changed the ride handling. There's a propane tank down below, and what runs on the propane is a 3-burner cooktop, the gas oven, the water heater, and the furnace. But I also have an electric heat strip in the air conditioning. When they did the 4-wheel drive conversion, they had to shorten the gas tank, so I lost about 4 gallons of capacity. I get about 200 miles per tank. I'm estimating about 7 miles per gallon. City, highway, about 9. I added rear airbags so I could adjust the suspension based on the load. So if I have a full tank of fresh water, a full tank of gray or black waste, they're all the way in the back, I could pump that up and adjust the ride. This is a waste hose storage tube that you could open up from the other side, and the waste hose slides through. That would hook on to the waste gates. So you got a regular RV Valterra cap here, you take that off, snap on your waste hose, you'd hook it into the campground dump station, and then there's 2 handles here. One's black, one's gray. Black waste is toilet waste. You always empty that first. You pull this straight out and the waste would discharge through. Then when that's done emptying, you close it. You open up your gray waste, and that's your sink and shower water. Nice and soapy, and that will help flush out your waste hose. The tanks are insulated and heated. So they're heated when you have your furnace on. There's heat ducts that they'll go down into the tank chamber. Gives you about a 7-degree boost in temperature. These are where I'd fill up the air suspension, and this is another air connection. There's a hitch receiver in the back. I have a backup camera up top there. I made homemade Sunbrella zip-up curtains for privacy, because the back portion of the van is the bathroom. The bathroom's on the inside. The back here is my garage. So this is where I store a lot of my tools. I have a wireless speaker box, a skateboard, beach towel, some of the brushes for wiping off the mountain bike or road bike or gravel bike, some of the glasses I need for riding, winter biking boots, hiking boots, and regular biking gravel boots. I have an outside shower too. This has a quick disconnect. I snap the hose in. I got hot and cold water out here. I could hose off items out here, and I could use the air connection and blow off what I'm hosing off to dry it off when I'm done. A buddy of mine made me this stainless steel insert that goes in the back to dress it up. Originally this van would have had a spare tire back here, but when I upgraded to four-wheel drive and larger rims and tires, it wouldn't fit inside. This side here, I have the battery, which is underneath this wooden panel. I have some of the gear I need for biking in this bag. The helmets, they just hook right on. Air pump, I got a hammock back there. I got a rain suit back there if I need it, if I break down. I have the water hose, the city water connection, and a siphon tube for winterization. I also carry my gloves back here for emptying the waste. This is the quick disconnect for the shower, and some shop towels, and I got a little bit of spray paint if I need to touch anything up. Everything fits in here really good. It was designed around the items I had. This side has the full curtain that rolls up. A couple more things I want to show you before I take you inside. This has a 6-gallon Atwood water heater that runs on propane gas. And when I turn it on, it has an electronic ignition. In about 15 minutes, I'll have really, really hot, like 130-degree water. So I'm not going to be showering at 130 degrees. I'll be adding some colder water to it so I could really stretch that shower. An average shower, cleaning my whole body and washing my hair, takes about 3.5 gallons. So I have about an 18-gallon freshwater tank on board, and my gray tank is about 15 gallons, so I have plenty of capacity there. This is an outside GFCI protected electrical outlet that'll run when the generator's on or you're plugged into shore power. Then I have a potable water fill, so the freshwater tank not only supplies water to all the plumbing on board, it runs on a 12-volt demand pump. And there's a water pump on board. So once I fill that tank or add water to that tank, I turn on the pump would pressurize the water system, and then when you turn on any faucet and you feel a drop in pressure, it'll kick that pump back on. But this is where you would take the key, open it, there's a little cap you remove, and you could fill the tank up with water. When I hooked up the city water connection at a campsite, I'm not filling my tank. It bypasses the tank, it just supplies water to all your plumbing. This is the cooktop ventilation. It's a little stainless steel cover with a louver that I could open up and turn on the cooktop fan to vent outside. And then I added a Ridgid Industries scene light, they call it, that really illuminates the whole campsite at night. Added some curtains here to the side for privacy. They really black it out, so if you want to do some stealth camping, no one can see in, and it really doesn't look like there's a curtain there because the windows are tinted and the curtain itself is black. First aid kit, little flashlight here, fire extinguisher. I got some emergency type items, some flares if I break down. I have some ratchet straps. You never know if you need to strap something on to the coach or if something came loose. This is the first aid / recovery cabinet. I got some tools. If I'm driving through the woods and there's some low branches, I might have to cut some limbs. So I have that saw that folds out. I got a little hatchet, got a tow rope, Gorilla Tape, little Leatherman here. I have a shovel, whoops. I have a shovel that folds up, really small. So if I needed to dig down in the sand, they do require it if you're gonna ride on the beach. I have a plug kit here for fixing the tire if I do get a puncture. I have a plate for a bottom of a pneumatic jack I have, so that jack will run just by pumping like a regular bottle jack, but I could hook it up to air compressor and lift up the van that way if I want. I have sockets, I have a lot of stuff in that cabinet. It's pretty full. And then over here, a little magazine rack. This is where I have a 1000 watt pure sine wave inverter on board. I could turn the inverter on right here, and it will power these two outlets off the batteries. So there's a, you hear that, a little delay, but there's a little fan that kicks on that turns the inverter on. So that will take my stored battery juice and convert it into electricity, so I could run small appliances like a little laptop or television. Nothing like a hairdryer or toaster could run off of that. When I purchased this van, it had regular carpeting on the floor. I removed all that and I added this Pergo flooring, snap together flooring. I put it really, really tight. It goes all the way underneath the cabinets here. It goes underneath the furniture on the other side. I also made this custom chair. These are Airstream Zip T Chairs. They're pretty heavy duty metal chairs with some umbrella material in the middle, but I made a little carrying case for them and I strap it to the seat here because there's really nowhere to store them, and I wanted to just make it look like they blended in so it's part of the furniture. But there's 2 chairs in there. Let's step inside. It's tight quarters in here, but every little inch of the space is used. So I'll go up front here. So it's got a little gaucho sofa here. These are cushions out of a current model Airstream travel trailer that just wound up fitting. So this slides out and makes into a bed, which is 48 inches wide. So it goes right up to the kitchen cabinets by 78 inches long. And that backrest, and there's another backrest I have hidden in a storage compartment, make up the bed and make it a complete bed. And then underneath I have the bedding and the pillows and everything stored in these zip up cases. Keep any bugs or dust or dirt out of it, but I have the sheets, the pillowcases, the pillows, everything's in there. Then I have a Lagoon Table, and it has these little levers on it that you can loosen up, and you can swivel the table around different angles. And that front chair here swivels all the way around, and this table's adjustable up and down on this track, so I could lower it if I'm going to sit in that front seat swiveled and use it, or I could keep it at its current height and use it while I'm sitting right there to eat or work on my laptop computer. Underneath the lounge I have the power converter charger with all the fuses and breakers behind this little panel here that pops off. I have a propane leak detector on board. Front cab area, this is the first year of the updated dash that Ford had, 97 and forward. Also the first year they used the V10 in the van. Prior to that they used the 460. But I have everything stored exactly where it needs to be to best utilize the space. I even have a brake controller if I needed to tow a travel trailer. I have a privacy curtain that goes across the front area instead of going around the cab area. It doesn't extend the living space like it would if I did the cab area, but it's a little bit more discreet if you're trying to do some stealth camping. It would just be a black wall behind the driver and passenger seat, and it's not as obvious. This front bed bifolds, it slides forward all the way out to here, and the mattress folds flat. Then I have a bed here that's about 66 inches long by 42 inches wide, so I could sleep diagonal. I'm 5'9" and fit fine and be comfortable. There's 2 lights up here that run off a little switch here on the side. That illuminates that area. I have a max fan I could pull down on this lever, spin the lid up, and the lid has a rain guard built into it, so if it rains, which it did last night, you won't get wet. I could turn on the fan. And this one is exhaust only, but there's different speeds. I have ventilation windows here on the slide. The little bottom portion slides and there's an insect screen. Same thing on this side. Plenty of storage. I keep all my cleaning supplies up here. I also have my generator start here, the water heater control on and off. And then I have a 4G internet service on board. So the whole motorhome is a Wi-Fi hotspot. I have that through AT&T. I have a little leaf extension here so I can extend my counter space if needed. Silverware drawer. I always want to remember, if you're building a van, to incorporate a trash pail into it. And then I have this that flips out for storage. I have a drawer here as well. And then I have more storage here, and that's the inverter off to the side. Little sink covers. This is a double sink. If I was building this from scratch, I would have just did a larger single bowl sink. They do have a double sink. Little sprayer off to the side. Fluorescent light above. Additional storage for more cooking stuff. This is the furnace control. I made these curtains here out of canvas. They're double lined that slide on a track to give you complete privacy. I have one there, and then I also have one on the side of the sofa here. Down below is where the furnace discharge comes out. So there's exhaust outside, and this is where the heat comes out right underneath the bed. It's not extremely hot, so I'm not worried about the sheets going up on flames. Over here, I have a Nest camera. I have an electrical outlet. I have USB charging ports here. And I have the Zamp solar controller display. So the bigger controller's on the other side of the wall. I put the remote control, so it's a little bit smaller on this side. Over the cooktop, I can monitor my black tank, gray tank, freshwater, propane, and battery capacity. I could also turn on and off the water pump from here, the hood light, and the hood fan. 3-burner cooktop, little glass lid, stainless steel back, and the gas oven, which I use all the time. Plenty of capacity, works extremely well, and doesn't throw a lot of heat off. That's a Dometic oven. Down below here, some additional storage. Throw some extra items in, but I have the water pump in there. On this side, this flips down. I have more gear for recovery. There's a little step there to get in and out of the van easier, zip ties, anything you'd need in recovery. Nova Cool compressor style refrigerator has a little latch up top that keeps it from the door opening when you're driving. But inside it's got plenty of storage. These compressor style fridges are much deeper than an absorption style fridge. So even though it looks smaller, it's actually a pretty big fridge. And it's got a little freezer up top there. Dry erase board so I could jot down ideas. Electrical outlet next to it. Some storage here. I have some additional lighting, some really bright lights here. Lights in the ceiling as well. I really never use the bright lights ever. I have a storage locker. I can lock that up when I'm out for the day. Take the key with me. Some books and extra clothes. I really love the work that 2-Bits Woodworking did. One of my buddies from high school, he redid the cabinet doors. I made them a little bit more updated. They were slab style doors. This is a big piece of wood. So he made raised panel and I put some canvas in the middle. But I have some additional food type storage up here. Love the hardware that keeps the door open. Little J latch at the bottom. Keeps the door locked in place. There's speakers back here, part of the front stereo system. 2 in the back door, 1 on the side door, 1 on the side, and 2 up front. I removed the microwave, or people call it delete the microwave. I don't use microwaves, so I didn't need one in here. So I utilize this as storage. So I keep towels in here, shampoo, conditioner, and I have one of these Polar Stuff outdoor sacks. It's like a sleeping bag, but you can walk around in it. And then I have 11,000 BTU air conditioning. There's different vents of different ways. You could have the airflow, you could dump it straight down. And there's a filter here that you have to change periodically or clean periodically, and you get your controls here as well. And then up top here, I have some more food related items, but that's all I keep on like coffee things. For the rear wet bath, I have a privacy curtain that pulls across. And then inside, there's a shower curtain that goes all the way around on a track. and it velcros down the middle, and that will contain this area so when you're showering, everything doesn't get wet. The whole bottom is fiberglass, so that could get wet, and the sink can get wet here. And there, the toilet could get wet, but I fit right in this area here, and that's where I shower. I could turn the water on and off here, and then the shower wand to conserve water. Once I get my temperature set and I'm all wet, I could pause it, I could lather up and then turn it back on, and my temperature's still set where I had it, and rinse off. And that's how you conserve water. And then when I'm done, I towel it down. I just leave the towel on the bottom because the shower curtain is going to drip a little bit, and there's a little drain plug here. The toilet is a standard RV toilet with a foot pedal here on the side. When you do that, it opens up the little flap on the inside, and that will allow the waste to drop through and fill the bowl up with a little bit of water. Just want to make sure you drain the toilet bowl down before you start driving, because you don't want that water splashing all over the walls. And then that wand can hang up on the wall here or on the ceiling. And there's a little fan in here you push up and push a little button, and that will exhaust the steam out or stale air. And then there's plenty of storage back here. Now, I have everything I would need at home in the RV, so all I have to do is grab some fresh food, and I could go out camping for the night. I added a Ridgid Industries spotlight. That way, when I open up the back doors, it'll illuminate that area so I can work on my bike. But while I'm in the bathroom, it also illuminates this area because the overhead light is right over your head, and it casts a shadow over the sink if you are trying to do stuff. So I use that spotlight instead. Okay, over here I have the wardrobe. So I have some clothes hanging up here, mostly biking stuff, some beach shorts, and then I added these little pouches here for socks and underwear. And then right here is a laundry basket, and when I open this, that's where you store your toilet paper. There's a laundry basket here I could take out and bring and clean the clothes. And then below that is storage for shoes, and then there's a furnace duct in here. But it sleeps up to 4 people. I would never want to have 4 people in this van. But it was designed for mom, dad, and 2 little kids who sleep up top. I just wind up sleeping up top. It's easier. Just jump out of bed, and everything. I could leave the computer and everything set that up down below without having to convert. But if I was going to have a guest, I guess I would slide this bed out and make it a little bit wider, and give them accommodation as well. Let's take another walk outside. I want to show you some more stuff. When you're camping, just to be comfortable while you're staying, while laying in the bed, or when you're sharing, so the water to come down the drain, you want to try to be level. Also crucial, a lot of RVs that have absorption style refrigerators, you have to be level in order for the refrigerator to work properly and safely. So I have these leveling blocks that I put underneath the tires, and I do it all by eye. You know, when you lay in the bed, if you feel level and you're not feeling rushed to one side or the other, you know you're level and acceptable. You can feel it in your body. But I stacked up 2 here. There's none on the other side. And then I also, in the back here, I stacked up 2. These are the ones I use when I park on the side of the street. I painted them black, just so it's a little bit more stealth. So when someone walks by the vehicle, they really have to look at it to understand that you have leveling blocks underneath. The front, it's pretty obvious. Someone's going to see that bright orange and, you know, just try to figure out what's going on. In the back here, one of the things I forgot to show you was this little storage compartment. And inside here I have my power cord, an extension cord for the power cord, the elbow for emptying the black tank, and I have an adapter for the power cord in the corner here that will allow me to plug it into a regular household electrical outlet. So that would be for charging, but not for running air conditioning. Up on the roof, I do this You can see the solar panels in the front. They run to a little ZAMP port here, and then I have another solar panel off to the side. So I utilized as much as I could on the roof. If I didn't have this original vent for the original style absorption refrigerator, which was required by code, I could have probably squeezed another one right here. But you gotta understand, this air conditioning will cast a shade on it part of the day. So it might not be as effective and worth the money. But it's very important to come up and clean your roof, inspect the seals around all your fans and vents, and make sure none of them are cracked or peeling up, because that's how water could get in. And you see, this is the color of the roof originally, and this is the vinyl wrap. They went right up to the top here. And I have the backup camera wire running along the roof, and it runs right down the refrigerator vent chase. That little antenna there, that's the Airstream connected internet that I have. I get Wi-Fi right off AT&T 4G service at a pretty reasonable rate. And this is the air conditioning. This is just the cover. You got to pop this off occasionally and check for beehives, and little chipmunks make nests in there, so it is something you do have to check periodically. Well, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a little bit longer of a tour if you want to get in a little bit more detail on the channel. I'm going to leave a link in the description, and at the end of the video, it'll be one of the suggested videos. Thanks for watching.